You'll never believe what these 15 Hollywood classic beauties looked like back then. Marilyn Monroe, before she became the ultimate symbol of Hollywood glamour, Marilyn Monroe was known as Norma Jean Baker, a shy, naturally brunette girl growing up in foster homes and struggling to find her place in the world. Early photos show a sweet, fresh-faced teenager with soft curls, a bright smile, and an innocent, girl-next-door charm. She worked in a factory during World War II, where a photographer discovered her and jump-started her modeling career. As she stepped into the spotlight, Norma Jean transformed completely. She dyed her hair platinum blonde, adopted the name Marilyn Monroe, and cultivated a new, sultry image that made her unforgettable. With her signature red lips, fluttering lashes, and breathy voice, she became one of the most iconic sex symbols of all time. From her early days as a hopeful model to becoming a Hollywood legend starring in films like Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Monroe's transformation is one of the most remarkable in film history. Behind the bombshell persona was a complex, determined woman who still fascinates the world decades later. Audrey Hepburn, before becoming one of the most elegant and beloved actresses in Hollywood history, Audrey Hepburn was a young girl living through the hardships of World War II in Nazi-occupied Belgium and the Netherlands. Born Audrey Kathleen Rustin, she studied ballet and dreamed of becoming a dancer. Early photos show a slender, shy teenager with wide, expressive eyes, delicate features, and dark cropped hair, already hinting at the grace that would define her. Her natural beauty and poise soon caught the attention of filmmakers, and she transitioned from dance to acting. Audrey's breakthrough came with Roman Holiday, 1953, where her charm and sincerity earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. She became a fashion icon, especially in her role as Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's, where her black Givenchy dress, pearl necklace, and elegant updo became legendary. Unlike many stars of her time, Audrey's appeal came from her refined simplicity, warmth, and inner strength. From a war-torn childhood to the height of stardom, her transformation was as inspiring as it was graceful, truly timeless. Elizabeth Taylor, before she became a Hollywood legend, Elizabeth Taylor was a striking young girl born in London to American parents. With her famously vivid violet eyes and perfectly arched eyebrows, she stood out from an early age. Her screen debut came at just 10 years old, and by 12, she had captivated audiences in National Velvet, showcasing not only her beauty but her undeniable talent. As she matured, Elizabeth blossomed into one of the most glamorous and celebrated actresses of her time. Her dark hair, flawless skin, and stunning eyes made her a true screen siren. Known for roles in classics like Cleopatra, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, she was more than just a pretty face, she was a powerhouse actress. Earning 2 Academy Awards, off-screen, her passion for life was just as captivating. Taylor's love of diamonds, multiple marriages, and activism for AIDS awareness kept her in the spotlight long after her film career slowed. From child star to global icon, Elizabeth Taylor's transformation was as dazzling as her legendary jewelry collection. Grace Kelly, before she became a real-life princess, Grace Kelly was a poised and determined young woman from a well-to-do family in Philadelphia. With classic Irish-American looks, porcelain skin, blonde hair, and serene blue eyes, she began modeling in her teens to help pay for acting school. Early photos show her with minimal makeup, often in simple outfits, yet her elegance was already undeniable. Grace quickly rose through the ranks of Hollywood, known for her cool, refined beauty and quiet intensity on screen. Her performances in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window and To Catch a Thief solidified her status as a leading lady, while her role in The Country Girl earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress. At the height of her fame, Grace made a life-changing decision, marrying Prince Rainier III of Monaco in 1956 and leaving Hollywood behind. She embraced her royal duties with the same poise she brought to the screen, becoming Princess Grace and a beloved figure in Europe. From American starlet to global royalty, Grace Kelly's transformation was the very definition of a modern-day fairy tale. Sophia Loren, before she was hailed as one of the most captivating women in cinema, Sophia Loren was Sofia Villani Ciccolone, a skinny, shy girl growing up in the poverty-stricken outskirts of Naples during World War II. Life was tough, food was scarce, and young Sophia was often teased for her thin frame and strong facial features. Early photos reveal a quiet girl with deep, expressive eyes, high cheekbones, and a presence that hadn't yet blossomed into the full glamour the world would come to admire. Her transformation began in her teens when she entered a local beauty pageant, which led to modeling and small film roles. With time, Sophia's striking features became her trademark. As she matured, so did her confidence and screen presence. By the 1950s and 60s, she was an international star, known for films like Two Women, for which she won an Academy Award, and Marriage Italian Style. More than just a beauty, Lauren's fiery personality, charm, and talent made her a cinematic icon. From humble beginnings to timeless elegance, her transformation remains one of Hollywood's most inspiring. Rita Hayworth, before she became one of Hollywood's most unforgettable femme fatale, Rita Hayworth was born Margarita Carmen Cancino, a dark-haired beauty of Spanish and Irish descent. Raised in a family of dancers, she began performing with her father at a young age. Early photos show a naturally exotic young woman with deep olive skin, intense eyes, and long black hair, a far cry from the glamorous icon she would become. In an effort to land more mainstream film roles in an industry biased toward Eurocentric beauty standards, Rita underwent a dramatic transformation. She dyed her hair auburn red, raised her hairline through electrolysis to soften her features, and changed her name. The result was stunning. Hollywood embraced the new Rita Hayworth, and by the 1940s, she was one of the most popular actresses in the world. Her role in Gilda, 1946, with that iconic hair flip and sultry performance, cemented her place in film history. Behind the scenes, she remained shy and humble, a far cry from her seductive on-screen persona. Rita's transformation was both mesmerizing and bittersweet. Lauren Bacall, before she became the embodiment of smoky sophistication, Lauren Bacall was born Betty Joan Persky in the Bronx, New York. Raised by a single mother, she studied acting and worked as a theater usher while modeling on the side to make ends meet. Early photos show a tall, striking teenager with a strong jawline, piercing eyes, and a look that was already magnetic, even without the polish of Hollywood glam. Her big break came when director Howard Hawks spotted her on a magazine cover and brought her to Hollywood. There, she was renamed Lauren Bacall and given the cool, husky-voiced persona that would become her trademark. At just 19, she starred opposite Humphrey Bogart in To Have and Have Not, 1944. Where her sultry line, "You know how to whistle, don't you?" became film legend. Bacall's transformation from a shy New York girl to a silver screen icon was swift and unforgettable. With her low voice, confident presence, and unforgettable gaze, she became a defining face of film noir, and half of one of Hollywood's greatest love stories. Ava Gardner, before she became one of Hollywood's most smoldering screen sirens, Ava Gardner was a barefoot farm girl from Grabtown, North Carolina. The youngest of 7 children, she grew up in modest surroundings, far removed from the glitz of the movie industry. Early photos show a naturally beautiful young woman with unruly dark curls, full lips, and striking green eyes, a raw beauty that hadn't yet been discovered. That all changed when a photo of her taken by her brother-in-law, a professional photographer, landed in the hands of MGM. Studio executives were captivated. Without any acting experience, Ava was signed to a contract and sent to Hollywood. With a little grooming and coaching, she quickly evolved into one of the most photographed women of the 1940s and 50s. Her breakthrough came in The Killers, 1946, where her sultry presence lit up the screen. Known for her roles in Magambo and The Barefoot Contessa, Ava became the very definition of old Hollywood allure. Her transformation from a small-town girl to a legendary sex symbol was as dramatic and dazzling as any film she starred in. Ingrid Bergman, before she enchanted audiences in Casablanca and Notorious, Ingrid Bergman was a modest, fresh-faced girl from Stockholm, Sweden. Orphaned at a young age, she was raised by relatives and pursued acting at the Royal Dramatic Theatre School. Early photos show her with natural beauty, no makeup, braided hair, and a radiant, wholesome glow. Her tall frame, expressive eyes, and genuine smile made her stand out, even without the glamour of Hollywood. Unlike many of her contemporaries, Bergman didn't undergo a dramatic transformation to fit into Hollywood's mold. In fact, her authenticity became her trademark. She was admired for her intelligence, elegance, and grounded presence. Her international breakthrough came with Intermezzo, 1939, which led to a contract with David O. Selznick and launched her American film career. In Hollywood, she was cast in unforgettable roles, most notably opposite Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca, 1942, where her quiet strength and emotional depth captivated the world. Ingrid Bergman's transformation wasn't about changing who she was, it was about the world finally recognizing the brilliance of a woman who had always been extraordinary. Hedy Lamarr, before becoming one of MGM's most glamorous stars, Hedy Lamarr was born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler in Vienna, Austria. As a teenager, she was already striking, with deep-set eyes, a strong jawline, and an intense, magnetic gaze. Early photos reveal a curious and intellectual young woman, often more focused on science books than celebrity dreams. She studied engineering before turning to acting, and by age 18, she shocked audiences in Europe with a daring role in Ecstasy, 1933. Her beauty caught the attention of Hollywood, and she was brought to the US, where MGM branded her as the most beautiful woman in the world. With raven black hair and porcelain skin, she dazzled in films like Algiers and Samson and Delilah. But Lamarr was more than a screen siren, she was a brilliant inventor. During World War II, she co-developed a frequency-hopping technology to prevent torpedo signal jamming, a precursor to modern Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Hedy Lamarr's transformation from curious Austrian teen to Hollywood icon and scientific pioneer proves that true brilliance shines far beyond the silver screen. Judy Garland, before becoming one of Hollywood's most beloved and enduring stars, Judy Garland was born Frances Ethel Gum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. A talented young singer with a bubbly personality, she had large, expressive eyes, chubby cheeks, and a wide smile, an image far from the glamorous icon she would later become. Frances performed with her sisters in the Gum Sisters vaudeville act, capturing attention with her sweet voice and natural charm. At just 13, Frances was signed by MGM and given the stage name, Judy Garland. Her breakout role came in 1939 with The Wizard of Oz, where she portrayed the innocent yet courageous Dorothy Gale, wearing the iconic ruby slippers and singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Garland's voice, a mix of vulnerability and power, became her trademark. Behind the scenes, her life was filled with personal struggles, but her incredible talent and warmth shone through. From her early days as a teenager to becoming the unforgettable star of the 1940s and 50s, Judy Garland's transformation was marked by resilience, magic, and unmatched artistry. Jean Harlow, before she became Hollywood's original platinum blonde and the ultimate 1930s sex symbol, Jean Harlow was Harleen Carpenter, Midwestern schoolgirl from Kansas City, Missouri. Early photographs show a soft-featured young girl with mousy brown hair, shy eyes, and a reserved demeanor, a far cry from the bold screen presence she would later project. Harlow moved to Los Angeles as a teenager and was discovered almost by accident when she accompanied a friend to a casting call. Studio executives were intrigued by her look, and her transformation began. Her hair was bleached a shocking platinum blonde, a color so unique at the time that it sparked a national craze, and she was cast in increasingly prominent roles. Her breakout came with Hell's Angels, 1930, followed by hits like Red Dust and Dinner at 8. Harlow's on-screen persona was confident, sexy, and sharp-witted, earning her the nickname the Blonde Bombshell. Tragically, her life was cut short at age 26, but Jean Harlow's transformation from quiet Midwestern girl to silver screen legend remains one of Hollywood's most dramatic and iconic. Natalie Wood, before she became one of the most talented and graceful actresses of her generation, Natalie Wood was born Natalia Nikolaevna Zakharenko to Russian immigrant parents in San Francisco. She began acting at the tender age of 4, pushed into the spotlight by her ambitious mother. Early photos show a cherubic child with round cheeks, big brown eyes, and a signature bowl haircut, the picture of innocence. Wood's breakout came at just 8 years old in Miracle on 34th Street, 1947, where she won hearts as the skeptical little girl who learns to believe in Santa Claus. As she grew up in front of the camera, audiences watched her transformation unfold. By her teenage years, she had blossomed into a poised and emotionally mature actress. Her role as Judy in Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, opposite James Dean showcased her dramatic depth and earned her an Oscar nomination. She continued to shine in major hits like West Side Story and Splendor in the Grass. Natalie Wood's evolution from precocious child star to sophisticated screen icon was as seamless as it was unforgettable. Joan Crawford, before she became one of Hollywood's most commanding and controversial stars, Joan Crawford was born Lucille Fay LeSueur in San Antonio, Texas. Raised in poverty and determined to escape it, she worked as a dancer in traveling troupes and Broadway revues. Early photos show a young woman with raw ambition in her eyes, angular features, and a bold, confident stance. Even before the full force of her transformation, Crawford's big break came when she was signed by MGM in the 1920s. The studio changed her name from Lucille LeSueur, reportedly because it sounded too foreign, and Joan Crawford was born. She reinvented herself with ruthless determination, adopting an elegant, dramatic style and sculpting her appearance to match Hollywood's ideals. She became a symbol of grit and glamour during the Great Depression, often playing hardworking women striving for a better life, much like herself. Her performances in films like Mildred Pierce, which earned her an Oscar, showcased her emotional power. Joan Crawford's transformation from struggling dancer to screen legend was defined by ambition, style, and an unshakable will to succeed. Brigitte Bardot, before she became the ultimate French bombshell of the 1950s and 60s, Brigitte Bardot was a shy, freckled Parisian schoolgirl with thick bangs and a love for ballet. Born into a conservative upper-middle-class family, she trained as a dancer and dreamed of a life on the stage, not necessarily the silver screen. Early photos show a quiet, thoughtful girl, her natural beauty and pouty lips already evident but far from the sultry image she would later craft. Bardot's transformation began when she started modeling in her teens, eventually landing on the cover of Elle magazine. Her breakthrough came with the film And God Created Woman, 1956, which introduced the world to her carefree sensuality and effortless allure. With tousled blonde hair, cat-eye makeup, and a confident, rebellious attitude, Bardot quickly became a global icon of beauty and sexual liberation. She wasn't just a pretty face, she symbolized a new era of feminine independence. Brigitte Bardot's evolution from demure schoolgirl to international sex symbol captured the spirit of post-war France and left an indelible mark on fashion, film, and pop culture.